Have you ever wondered why tennis legends are called nicknames like the King of Clay, the Joker, or the Demon? Because behind every nickname is a secret story, some hilarious, some iconic, and some completely unbelievable. In today's video, we are going to discuss how every major tennis player got their nickname. Roger Federer, the Swiss Maestro. The very first in this list is none other than the tennis great Roger Federer. Federer didn't just play tennis, he performed it. The nickname, the Swiss Maestro, captures something deeper than greatness. It reflects the way Federer turned matches into orchestral performances. Fluid footwork like the smooth stroke of a violin bow, forehands that looked choreographed, and a calm persona that felt almost royal. Commentators coined the term maestro very early in his career, noticing how effortlessly he controlled tempo, rhythm, and emotion. Meanwhile, Swiss wasn't just a geographical tag. It symbolized precision, craftsmanship, and elegance, traits often associated with Switzerland itself. The other nickname, FedEx, emerged from fans because Federer always delivered, especially in finals, with the reliability of an express courier. Win after win, Grand Slam after Grand Slam, his game looked predictable only in one way. It was predictably brilliant. Sponsors embraced it, media repeated it, and eventually, both nicknames became synonymous with Federer's mystique. What makes these titles stick is how perfectly they matched his identity. The calm king who dominated without arrogance and inspired an entire generation to see tennis as an art, not just a competition. Well, it seems interesting, but it's just the start. Stick around with us to know about more interesting nicknames of the famous players in this video, and don't forget to subscribe to our channel. Rafael Nadal, the King of Clay. Rafa. If Federer were a painter, Rafael Nadal was a gladiator. His nickname, the King of Clay, didn't come from hype. It came from numbers that sounded unreal when they first happened. Nadal owns more French Open titles than entire generations of players combined, and his Roland Garros win-loss record looks like a typo. Commentators in the mid-2000s started calling him King of Clay because no enemy, no strategy, and no weather seemed strong enough to dethrone him on the red dirt. Clay courts demand patience, stamina, and discipline. Three qualities Nadal seemed to have in unlimited supply. His trademark sleeveless shirts, headband, and ferocious fist pumps added to the mythology. This wasn't a tennis match, it was a battle arena, and Nadal was the warrior who refused to die. Even his simple nickname, Rafa, became globally iconic, used by fans who felt connected to his sincerity, humility, and relentless fighting spirit. Nadal's nicknames don't just describe his achievements, they describe his personality. He is a king who never acts like one, a fierce competitor who remains soft-spoken, and a clay specialist who conquered every other surface too. Nadal didn't choose his titles. The tennis world gave them to him because his dominance made the names unavoidable. Novak Djokovic, the Serbinator. Novak Djokovic's nickname, the Serbinator, began as a playful mashup of Serbian and Terminator, but quickly turned into a literal description of his game. Djokovic doesn't just beat opponents, he breaks them. The man turns impossible defenses into counterattacks, returns serves that physics says are unreturnable, and thrives under pressure like it increases his oxygen supply. Early in his career, Novak's flexibility, sliding returns, and almost robotic endurance made fans and journalists question whether he was human at all. Thus, Serbinator stuck, capturing his machine-like consistency and mental steel. His other nickname, Nole, emerged organically from Serbian fans. It's a shortened, affectionate version of Novak that eventually spread worldwide. What makes Djokovic's nicknames fascinating is that they represent both sides of his identity. The unstoppable competitor and the deeply emotional, playful human behind the scenes. The Serbinator is the destroyer of Big Three dynasties, the man who survived 5-hour wars and came back stronger. Nole is the charismatic personality, the guy who jokes with crowds, impersonates Maria Sharapova, and dances after victories. Together, they create the most complete character arc modern tennis has seen. Djokovic's nicknames weren't handed down through media gimmicks. They were earned through sweat, survival, and a legacy built on resilience. Serena Williams, the Queen of the Court, Mika. Serena Williams' rise to tennis royalty is represented perfectly in her nickname, the Queen of the Court. While some nicknames exaggerate a player's greatness, this one might actually underestimate hers. Serena didn't just dominate women's tennis, she rewrote what dominance looked like. Her explosive serve, unmatched athleticism, and iron mentality gave her an aura that felt regal and untouchable. Commentators began using Queen as early as the mid-2000s, noticing that Serena didn't just win tournaments, she conquered eras. Her presence changed the sport for generations, making the nickname more than symbolic. It became an accurate history. Her lesser-known nickname, Mika, is used within her family, including Venus, a reminder that Serena is not just a global icon but also a sister, a daughter, and a woman grounded in real relationships. What makes Queen of the Court so iconic is that Serena earned it through battles, comebacks, motherhood, injuries, and triumphs that mirrored an epic saga. She stands as the most influential female tennis player in modern history, and the nickname ensures her legacy extends beyond trophies into culture, inspiration, and identity. Pete Sampras, Pistol Pete. Pete Sampras earned the nickname Pistol Pete for one reason. His serve didn't just start points, it ended them. Sampras delivered his shots with the accuracy and explosiveness of a bullet fired from a revolver. Commentators noticed early in his career that his serve and volley style was old school yet devastating, striking opponents before they even had time to think. Fans or marketers didn't invent his nickname. It came organically from the way he delivered points with cold, ruthless precision. Very few nicknames capture the essence of a playing style the way Pistol Pete does. Every ace felt like a shot, every slam win like a quick-draw victory. Yet the nickname also reflects Sampras's calm, quiet, almost introverted personality. He wasn't flashy, he wasn't theatrical, he just walked onto the court, fired his weapons, and walked off with another title. The duality of Pistol Pete is what makes it one of tennis's most iconic nicknames. It's aggressive yet humble, intimidating yet understated, just like Sampras himself. His identity was built on execution, not showmanship, and the nickname immortalized his minimalistic, lethal approach. Steffi Graf, Fräulein Forehand. Steffi Graf's devastating forehand became so famous that it earned her one of the most technically accurate tennis nicknames ever, Fräulein Forehand. While many players had strong forehands, Graf's wasn't just a weapon, it was a phenomenon. The shot was flat, fast, and frighteningly accurate. Commentators were stunned by how consistently she could rip it down the line, especially on big points, and soon enough the nickname spread through the tennis world. The term Fräulein, meaning Miss in German, highlighted her nationality, while forehand highlighted the very attack that defined her style. The nickname stuck throughout her career, symbolizing how a single shot could become a trademark strong enough to win her 22 Grand Slams. Graf's nickname reflects her persona too, disciplined, efficient, and relentlessly tough. Nothing about her game was excessive. Everything was intentional, precise, almost clinical. Fans appreciated the simplicity of the nickname because it echoed the simplicity of her dominance. Build pressure, strike with the forehand, win the match. Graf's forehand wasn't just a shot, it was an identity. Nick Kyrgios, Wild Thing. Nick Kyrgios didn't earn the nickname the Wild King through titles. He earned it through unpredictability. If tennis had a wildcard character, it would be him. Fans never know whether they're about to witness a jaw-dropping tweener winner, a meltdown at the umpire, a 230 km/h underarm serve, or a match where he barely tries for an entire set before suddenly playing like a top 5 legend. Kyrgios' talent is so natural it feels unfair, but his temperament is so volatile it feels scripted. Commentators and fans also called him the King of Chaos and Kigs because he brings a storm wherever he goes. Stadiums buzz louder, audiences split, opponents tremble, and social media explodes. Kyrgios thrives in emotional heat. He plays best when the match feels like a street fight. And yet, beneath the chaos, there's an authenticity, a player who doesn't pretend and doesn't hide. His nickname isn't just about antics, it's about energy, unpredictability, and a kind of electricity no other modern player creates. Kyrgios may never be the king of titles, but he is undeniably the king of entertainment. Björn Borg, the Iceman/Iceborg. Björn Borg didn't earn the nickname the Iceman because he was calm. He earned it because he was unnaturally calm. In a sport built on adrenaline, explosions, and emotional outbursts, Borg never cracked, never flinched, and never revealed a single thought on his face. Crowds were mesmerized by his expressionless stare, his slow breathing, and his ability to handle pressure like a monk in meditation. This coolness, especially at Wimbledon, became legendary. Fans started calling him the Iceman, and eventually the clever pun Iceborg took over. His rivalry with the fiery John McEnroe amplified this reputation even more. Borg was ice, McEnroe was fire. Their personalities created a cultural contrast that the sport had never seen before. Borg's nickname also represents his Scandinavian roots, tying into the cold Nordic temperament he seemed to embody. He walked on court like a glacier, silent, unstoppable, and monumental. Opponents said it felt like hitting against a wall that never talked back. Even after retirement, the nickname stuck because Borg remained one of the coolest figures in tennis history. His composure, his fashion, and his aura still inspire modern players. Andre Agassi, the Las Vegas Kid, the Comeback Kid. Andre Agassi's nickname, the Las Vegas Kid, didn't start in tennis. It started with his identity. Agassi was literally born in Las Vegas, and he carried that energy onto the court. Loud outfits, neon shorts, denim shorts, long hair, earrings, and a rock star personality. Agassi wasn't just a tennis player, he was entertainment. Fans and commentators embraced the nickname because he played with showmanship that felt straight out of the Vegas Strip. But Agassi's other nickname, the Comeback Kid, came much later, and it came from pain, failure, and reinvention. After falling out of the top 100, suffering injuries, and nearly disappearing from professional tennis, Agassi rebuilt himself both physically and mentally. His redemption arc, returning to win Grand Slams in his 30s, created one of the greatest comeback stories in sports history. That's when fans started calling him the Comeback Kid, celebrating a man who proved that glory can rise from collapse. Agassi's nicknames perfectly reflect the two halves of his life: the flashy prodigy from Vegas, and the warrior who fought his way back from the bottom. Martina Hingis, the Swiss Miss. Martina Hingis' nickname, the Swiss Miss, is one of the most fitting and memorable in tennis history. It combines her nationality, her youth, and her playing style in just 2 words. Swiss connects her to a country known for precision and finesse qualities that defined her game. Miss highlighted how young she was when she took over the sport. At just 16, Hingis became the youngest world number one in history. The nickname carried a playful, almost fairy tale-like charm because Hingis didn't overpower her opponents, she outsmarted them. Her court intelligence, angles, touch, and anticipation made her a strategic mastermind far ahead of her years. She played tennis like chess, always 2 or 3 moves ahead, and the nickname became synonymous with her youthful genius. Hingis' dominance in the late 1990s was so complete that even her competitors adopted the term Swiss Miss in interviews. It wasn't just a nickname, it was her brand, her identity, and her signature. Naomi Osaka, the Silent Assassin. Naomi Osaka's nickname, the Silent Assassin, emerged because she brought 2 unusual qualities together: incredible power and deep shyness. Osaka could crush the ball with one of the heaviest baseline games on the WTA Tour, yet she spoke softly, avoided confrontation, and carried herself with gentle humility. Commentators began calling her silent because of her introverted personality: no outbursts, no theatrics, just quiet focus. The assassin part came from her ability to dismantle the biggest names on the biggest stages, especially in Grand Slam finals. When Osaka locked in, her forehands and backhands struck with lethal accuracy, often leaving opponents frozen. Fans loved the nickname because it perfectly captured her duality: the sweet, respectful champion off the court and the stone-cold competitor on it. Osaka's calm face, whisper-like voice, and fierce ground strokes created one of the most unique identities in modern tennis. Jannik Sinner, the Fox. Jannik Sinner's nickname, the Fox, is one of the most naturally fitting nicknames in tennis. It didn't come from marketing or media hype. It came from fans observing the way he looks, moves, and behaves both on and off the court. With his unmistakable red hair, lean frame, pale complexion, and sharp facial structure, Sinner visually resembles a fox straight out of the wilderness of northern Italy. But the nickname goes much deeper than appearance. Foxes are known for a unique blend of intelligence, agility, and strategic patience, and these qualities define Sinner's game to perfection. Sinner grew up as a professional skier in the mountains before choosing tennis, which explains his exceptional balance and quiet footwork. He doesn't glide with flamboyance like Federer or explode with intensity like Nadal. Instead, he stalks the court with calculated calmness. Every step is light, controlled, and quietly dangerous. Much like a fox hunting silently in the snow, Sinner approaches points with a controlled, almost stealthy patience, waiting for the perfect moment to strike. That strike often comes in the form of his devastating flat ground strokes, especially that backhand that pierces through the court like a laser beam. His personality adds another layer to the nickname. Sinner is reserved, polite, unemotional, and extremely mature for his age. He rarely complains, rarely shouts, and rarely shows frustration. This quiet nature made fans associate him with the observational, intelligent behavior of fox creatures known not for dominance, but for discipline and cleverness. Even his coach, Darren Cahill, described him as someone who absorbs information calmly and methodically, just like a fox analyzing its environment. What makes the fox a special tennis nickname is its symbolism. It's not about power, intensity, or drama, it's about subtle mastery. Sinner rarely looks like he's trying too hard, yet he dismantles opponents with depth, timing, and precision rather than sheer muscle. His rallies are built on patience and calculation, and when he finally unleashes that final blow, usually a flat forehand or backhand winner, it feels like a fox pouncing with perfect accuracy after waiting for the exact opportunity. Sinner's nickname also reflects his transformation. Once underestimated, now one of the most feared hunters in the men's game. Stan Wawrinka, Stan the Man. Stan Wawrinka earned the nickname Stan the Man because for years he was the player nobody wanted to face. The man who, on his day, could play a level of tennis so overwhelming that even the big three couldn't handle it. The nickname didn't come from fans looking for something catchy. It emerged from genuine disbelief. When Wawrinka locked in, he transformed into a force of nature. His one-handed backhand wasn't just beautiful, it was violent. It could hit winners from corners, open up the court like a knife slicing through fabric, and leave some of the world's best defenders simply shaking their heads. Stan the Man became a way to describe his transition from a talented player living in Federer's shadow to a Grand Slam titan in his own right. When Stan began winning majors, Australian Open 2014, the French Open 2015, and the US Open 2016, he beat the world number one each time, not by luck, not by fatigue, but by overpowering them with a level of confidence and precision that felt almost mythical. That's when commentators started repeating, "Stan the Man has arrived," and the nickname stuck. It fits him because Wawrinka's game reflects pure craftsmanship. His backhand, forehand, and serve look like they were carved from stone. His physique, built like a heavyweight boxer, gives him an aura of strength and inner stability. The nickname also captures his personality, humble, loyal, and hardworking. Wawrinka doesn't shout for attention, he earns it. He doesn't talk like a hero, he plays like one. Fans embraced the nickname because it showed respect for a man who built his legacy brick by brick, and unlike many nicknames that fade with time, Stan the Man remains iconic because it aligns perfectly with the identity of a late-blooming champion whose peaks were some of the highest the sport has ever seen. Andy Murray, Muzza, Sir Andy. Andy Murray's nickname, Muzza, is a uniquely British invention, a playful, affectionate, slightly chaotic shorthand that fans invented out of pure love. It became popular on forums, live chats, and stadium chants during his early rise. Muzza captured the spirit of a player who fought like a lion but carried himself with dry humor and humility. It wasn't a name created by marketers, it was created by everyday supporters who felt connected to him. Over time, it became a symbol of the British public's relationship with Murray, warm, realistic, and filled with admiration. But Murray's other title, Sir Andy, carries a much deeper weight. After ending Britain's 77-year curse by winning Wimbledon in 2013, Murray became a national hero. He did it again in 2016 and added 2 Olympic gold medals on top of that. Murray wasn't just winning trophies, he was carrying the emotional load of an entire nation desperate for a champion. When Queen Elizabeth II knighted him in 2017, Sir Andy transformed from a fan nickname to an official recognition of his contribution to British sport and culture. Murray's nicknames reflect the duality of his identity. Musa represents the humor and relatability of the player, known for muttering to himself, fighting through pain, and showing raw emotion. Sir Andy represents the legacy, the strategic genius, the defensive magician, and the warrior who played his entire career in the most brutal era in tennis history. Murray's grit, mental toughness, and resilience against Federer, Nadal, and Djokovic earned him respect worldwide. Each of his nicknames highlights a different chapter of his journey from a stubborn Scottish kid to one of tennis's greatest fighters. And now we move from grit to a champion known for precision, dominance, and the relentless pursuit of perfection. Iga Swiatek, Iga Express. The Bagel Queen. Iga Swiatek's nickname, the Bagel Queen, emerged organically when fans realized something unusual about her match results. She was handing out 6-0 sets more frequently than almost any world number one before her. In tennis slang, a 6-0 set is called a bagel, and Swiatek didn't just win them, she mass-produced them. Commentators began joking about her bagel bakery. Fans created graphics tracking her total bagels, and eventually the name Bagel Queen became a defining part of her identity. It reflects her ruthless ability to dominate entire sets with perfect footwork, deep topspin, and suffocating baseline pressure. Her other nickname, Iga Express, highlights the efficiency and speed with which she demolishes opponents. Many top players take time to settle into matches, but Swiatek often starts at full throttle. Her precise movement, explosive forehand, and aggressive court positioning allow her to take control immediately. Matches that would take other players 2 hours often take Swiatek just 1. This rapid-fire style reminded fans of a train speeding down the tracks, clearing everything in its path. But the nicknames also reflect deeper qualities. Swiatek is known for her disciplined routines, psychological training, and extreme focus, tools she uses to maintain consistency across surfaces. Her ability to switch from heavy topspin to flat, penetrating shots gives her a tactical advantage, particularly on clay. Off the court, she is thoughtful, introverted, and intellectually curious, a stark contrast to the ruthless dominance she displays during matches. The combination of kindness outside the court and destruction inside it makes her nicknames both humorous and accurate. She is polite and bookish in interviews, yet one of the most dominant athletes in women's tennis history when she steps between the lines. The Bagel Queen title is not just a joke, it is a statistical reality, and the Iga Express perfectly captures her unstoppable rise toward becoming one of the defining champions of her generation. And that's it. Each nickname is built on years of dominance, bizarre habits, on-court meltdowns, legendary comebacks, and unforgettable personalities that shape the sport itself. What are your thoughts about it? Which nickname surprised you most in this video? Tell us in the comments section, and don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more amazing content. Thanks.